This video, you'll learn how to integrate Elsa 3, a powerful .NET workflow engine, into an ABP-based .NET application. We'll build an AI-powered question answering system using Elsa workflows and Ollama's LLM capabilities, all within a clean, modular API setup. Compared to Elsa 2, Elsa 3 brings significant improvements, including a more robust and flexible API, and comes with Elsa Studio, which is a powerful visual workflow designer that makes creating and managing workflows intuitive. To get started, we'll use ABP Studio to generate our application. If you are not familiar with the ABP ecosystem or don't have ABP Studio yet, you can download it from ABP website. ABP Studio is a powerful development environment that helps you create and manage ABP-based solutions with ease. As you can see, ABP Studio is available for Windows through the Microsoft Store and for macOS with both Intel and Apple Silicon versions. Once installed, ABP Studio provides a complete development environment where you can create new solutions ranging from simple applications to modular monolith and microservices. Architect your solutions by managing modules and service relations. Explore your solution components, entities, and APIs without diving into code. Run and monitor multiple applications or microservices with real-time insights. And it even integrates with Kubernetes cluster for streamlined development and more. Alternatively, you can use the ABP Studio CLI for a command line experience. From the Get Started page, you can see the related command in here. But for this video, we will go with the ABP Studio for a visual beginner-friendly app. Since I already have ABP Studio installed and use it regularly for creating ABP-based applications, I will open it in my computer to demonstrate the process. With ABP Studio open on my screen, let me show you how to create our new app. I'll walk through the simple setup process. So click the New Solution button. Then we can go with the layered solution. We can click the layered option and click Next. And for the solution name, I will use ABP Workflow Demo. And then we will select MVC as the UI type. And also go with the framework core, and we will select the database management system as PostgreSQL. And then I will use my own connection string in here. I can even test my connection. And then I will click Next. And we'll actually stick with the default options for rest of the options since they give us everything we need for this tutorial. Click the create button to generate the solution. End of the page, and we can click the create button to generate our application. After ABP Studio create a new solution, we will see in a second that it will handle all the initial setup tasks for us in the background. It will install the packages, setting up the database, and so on. In the background task, you can see here, created the TLS secret for us, it generated the signing certificate for application, and it installs client-side libraries, and it will also migrate our database. In this automated process saves us a lot of time compared to manual setup. And after all of them are completed, now we can open our solution in Cursor Code Editor, where we can start building our workflow integration. Let's open the solution in Cursor Code Editor and start coding. Now that we have our solution open in Cursor Code Editor, we can see the familiar layered structure of an ABP application with domain, application, and presentation layers, and also with the structure layer here. And since we'll be integrating Elsa workflows primarily through HTTP API endpoints, let's start by adding the required Elsa packages to our web project. We can open our terminals in the web project directory, and then we can add the following projects. We will add Elsa package, and then we will also add elsa.entframework.core.postgresql package, and also finally we will add elsa workflows.api package in our web project. Elsa for core functionality, and efcore.postgresql package for persistence, and finally elsa workflows.api for closing management endpoints. Then we can configure Elsa services in our web module class. After the packages are installed, I will my web project in here. Then close the terminal. I will open my web project and ABP workflow demo web module. And then in the configure services method, we can add related configurations in here. In here, we will use config service.add Elsa method. Here, namespaces, Elsa.extensions namespaces, and then I will add namespaces for other modules, methods for modules management. Also, I will add the Ascent framework core.extensions namespace on top of my application. This configuration sets up PostgreSQL as a database for workflow purposes. And here we are using PostgreSQL and we are getting the default condition string here. Also, this configuration enables workflow management and runtime features by using runtime method here and register custom activities and workflows from the related module class. And also, we are exposing as endpoints and enable HTTP activities. Now, also, we need to add the Elsa middleware in the on application initialization method in the same API framework demo web module class. So I will scroll down and in the on application initialization method, after the use routing method, I will add use workflows API and use workflows method here, this one. And these two methods will allow us to use Elsa API endpoints and also use workflows will allow us to use Elsa middleware to handle HTTP requests mapped to HTTP endpoint activities. After configuring Elsa with PostgreSQL, we can save the file and then we can run our application. .NET run command. And when we run our application, all related tables from the Elsa will be created in our application. So when we, open our database in a database management tool, we will be able to see the related Elsa related tables in the database. So our application is running up right now. It's starting the web host. You can see our application is running right now and listening on port. So if we open the application, then we will see the related UI. As you can see, our application is up right now, and we can even navigate to Swagger endpoint to see the all HTTP API endpoints for our application. And since our application is running right now, I will open Azure Data Studio and we'll check the ABP workflow demo database to see the Elsa related tables. You can see I opened the Azure Data Studio, and if I open my databases, as you can see there's an AP Workflow Demo and AP Workflow Demo 2 as database names. I've created this one just now, and if you check the schemas, you will see the public schema with the ABP's own tables, and also you can see the Elsa in here and the all related Elsa tables right here. So when you run the application, Elsa automatically add the related tables in database. And then whenever you create a new workflow or activity and even you run your workflows, all of the records will be persisted in the PostgreSQL under the Elsa schema. Now after the setup, we can build the core AI part workflow. So we need to add the Microsoft Extensions AI Ollama package to our project. So we can open the terminal and run the following command. Terminal in the projects directory. And then I will add the Microsoft Extensions AI Ollama and also will set the pre-release flag. And it will add the related package to my project. And after that, we can add the related Ollama run command, and we will run the Llama 3.1 large language model in. I've already installed Ollama and background, and also I've already pulled the Llama 3.1 model for this video. But if you don't know what the Ollama is, or if you haven't installed it, you can refer to my previous video. And after you run the Llama 3.1, now we can create our AI powered workflow. So we can create a new workflow in the workflow folder. So we can add a folder in our web projects called workflows. And in this folder, we can create a new C# class called AI question answering workflow. And when we create related class, I will copy paste the all codes from my previous project. I will try to explain it to you. This workflow basically listens on an HTTP endpoint in here. We will process with this endpoint. As you can see, we are defining related paths. And also, after we get related question, we are setting it in a variable. You can see there is a question variable in here, so we can use it the next step for activities. And after we getting the question, we are setting it to a variable called question variable. And then we are basically returning an HTTP response in here. In the content side, as you can see, we are getting an Ollama chat client. We are using the Ollama's own URI and pass the module ID as Llama 3.1. And then we are using the Ollama chat client's get response async method and basically write a prompt like this one. Answer the following question and then pass the related question in here. And after we do all of this, Elsa will create workflow instance and store their execution state in the database table we saw earlier. So the only thing we need to do is to running our application, and Elsa will register the related workflow, the HTTP endpoint for us, so we can directly send the request. And then we will be able to get the response back from the Llama 3.1 module. So let's run the application and see the workflow in action. We don't need to make any other change. We don't need to write any configuration. We just need to open the web project and write the .NET run command. When we run it and when our application is built up, when our application is starting, then we can open our application in the browser and we can send a request to the related HTTP endpoint that we defined in here. So we will send a request to ask question endpoint and we'll pass the question in here and we'll get a response from the Ollama 3.1 module. So our application is built up right now. So let's open our application in the port. Okay, our application is running right now. So we need to send a request to related endpoint in here with workflows as questions endpoint. Workflows is the root prefix and the other one is related endpoint that we defined in HTTP endpoint activity. And this is the question that we set to the related variable. And then in the right HTTP response activity, we are running the related question with the Ollama 3.1 model and it returns the related response to us. So let's try it. I basically asked what is the capital of France and returned from the Llama 3.1 model. Let's try something else. So let's say, for example, Turkey, and it should say Ankara is here. So our application is working out. I just create an HTTP endpoint activity, and then we create an that variable activity to hold the related question, and then we are passing it to the next activity, write HTTP response activity, and by passing the related variable, we can run the Llama 3.1 model and get the answer for our question. This is a simple AI workflow that you can use, and also you can not need to define a HTTP endpoint in here. You don't need to define an HTTP endpoint activity, or you don't even need to use endpoints in here to get a response. You can use iWorkflow runner, Elsa, and create your workflow and run it in your code. Okay, now this is how it's easy to create your own AI workflow with a few lines of code. We just added the related Elsa packages in our project, and then we added Microsoft's own Microsoft extensions Ollama package to our application to get the Llama 3.1 model, and we've sent the related question and get the response from the model and showing here as an HTTP response. But for so far we only defined our AI workflows through the related programmatically. Actually, we define them programmatically. But if you prefer a visual designer, you can use Elsa Studio. And also, I want to show you that in here. For visual workflow design, Elsa Studio provides a Blazor WebAssembly-based UI. You can run it via the Docker, or you can create a new Blazor WebAssembly application and follow this documentation to add related Elsa Studio packages and modify your program.cs file for related configurations. But for now, I will just run this image uh, in my computer, and also I run related command in here automatically. And after you create your application, it will open an application in this port, so we can see the related Elsa Studio UI in here. And in the workflow section, I can create my own definitions, and actually I've created before. And for example, you can see my own workflow design in here. You can have multiple activities in here, and you can drag in and drop out in any activity in here, and add related links between the activities and create your own workflow. After you create your workflow, you can run it in here, and when you run them, you can see it in the instances. You can see if they are faulted or succeed, and you can see the all information in here. And whenever you publish your own workflows, you will see the version will be changed. For example, in the definitions, if I come in here and if I publish it in here, and then if I run it here for the demonstration, and if I open the instances, you will see that it's expanded. And now if I go back to my workflow again and the new one for read line, and now save it and publish it again, as we can see, version is changed to 2. And when I run it and go to instances page, you will see the version come as true right now. So you can publish your workflows, and you can manage them through the versions, and then it will be beneficial for you to roll back to any version that you want from here. You can view the all details from your workflow instances, and all of them are written into your PostgreSQL database. So if you prefer a visual workflow design, you can go with this studio and design your own workflow from the definition section. You can create a new workflow, for example, and add any activity you want and create your own workflow in here. But as a side note, Elsa Studio, it only provides Blazor WebAssembly UI, so you need to know that limitation. And for today's video, I will only show the programmatic way to design the workflows, but you can playground in the Elsa Studio's own UI. Elsa and ABP together offer a clean way to model and run complex workflows in .NET. And with the power of Ollama and other LLMs, we can now extend those workflows with intelligent behavior. And as you can see in here, we create a programmatic workflow and interact from the workflow base and implement the build method in here and defined our activities in here is a sequence workflow. Our activities was we first defined HTTP endpoint and defined the URL, and we get the related question parameter and set it in variable, so we can use in our activities in question variable here. And finally, we define the write HTTP response activity, and in the content method of it, we just create an Ollama chat client with the URI and model ID as 1, and send the question to Ollama 3.1 and get the response and show it in HTTP response. You can do it so much with this. That's a workflow library. And this was just for a simple demonstration. And you can stay tuned for the next video where we will go deeper into visual workflow design with Elsa Studio. And please let me know that if you need to, see more content like comment section. And thanks for watching.